Right. Yeah, many people, as they say, that many people, things like my people perish because of lack of knowledge. Well, I don't really know about that. Yeah, some people do perish because of lack of knowledge, and some people do perish because they choose not to have knowledge. And by not having knowledge, then they might kind of deprive themselves of wisdom. So it's much a little bit deeper. So people do perish because of lack of knowledge, and some people do choose to perish because they choose not to have knowledge. And we do hear things like, what you don't know don't kill you, or what you don't know don't bother you. Well, if you choose to ignore it, that doesn't mean it wouldn't bother you. What you don't know don't bother you. What you don't know does kill you. If you've been ignorant of how your body works and you eat some certain things, you might perish or die, or actually go through pain before you eventually, as they say, pass away. So are you telling me what you don't know don't kill you? You just experienced that. You just dead. You died. So what you don't know that will kill you. We always have in the culture, especially my grandmother, always says things like, "Ìpè tá pè sin òkú, tá bá pè wá láàyè yóò yè." Yeah, my grandmother was not this sort of person that loved to go to funeral a lot, as we know it. So I think if I could reason a little bit with a little bit of sense, she was more like somebody that's more pro-life, So, and for you really to have the statement, because I knew, that statement was not belong to my grandmother, but Yoruba, in our true states, we do know that there's so much in life, So that's, if not so, that statement or proverbial statement will never come out as "Ìpè tá pè sin òkú, tá bá pè wá láàyè yóò yè." The time we spend to bury people, if we invest same time on when people are still living, they will live. And they will live and live and live and live. So we kind of, I don't want to use the word pro-death, but we're more addicted to so-called death today, that we just want people to die. We give up too easily when it comes to people dying. But when it comes to wellness, we don't want to live. So, yeah, that's it. And it all comes back to the sacred law, So just because we're ignorant of something or we haven't been taught something, that doesn't mean we cannot get destroyed by the lack of knowledge of that thing. And that just goes for just about anything and just about everything, really. So, yeah, it goes with the law, the codex, the real law. So we're speaking of ESHU ORISHA OTITO. When we're talking about jurisdiction, some people want to talk about law, all these things. How can you be dealing with law and you don't know ESHU ORISHA? How dare you? How can you? You cannot deal with law, real law we're speaking about, without knowing ESHU ORISHA OTITO, ESHU ORISHA Olódùmarè, ESHU ORISHA Ọ̀dàrà, ESHU ORISHA Ìtura. These are the sacred law. The Iyemetu tradition, that's the law. We're talking about the law that put galaxies in space. We're talking about Galactical Federation now. So, how are you going to tell me you know law and you don't know anything about ESHU ORISHA? How are you going to tell me you pass a bar? How can you pass a bar without knowing ESHU ORISHA? Don't you know ESHU ORISHA is a bar you have to pass? Who has passed the bar of ESHU ORISHA? Who has? Who has passed the bar of ESHU ORISHA to call themselves, "Oh yeah, I'm of the bar now"? Really? Do you know what bar is? You're speaking on the Most High. You're dealing with the Agotuns now. You're dealing with the gods now. You're dealing with the supreme creators now. They let you pass it by, real by. You know, we're speaking about jurisdiction. How can you know jurisdiction without no ESHU ORISHA, the primary jurisdiction? See, I'm struggling to even pronounce that word. Almost get my tongue twisted because I want to say jurisdiction. Yeah, I think so. Jurisdiction. Man, crazy. How can people just make things simple? So, how can you talk about jurisdiction without knowing ESHU ORISHA Agotun? The true supreme law. The goddess, the Most High Goddess Mayat. You know them, you know the law. These days, people just talk about this law. Einstein law. Even in physics, they have all these laws. Everybody want to talk about all this law, all these things. This law, this, that. That's the reason why the whole world is in kind of disruption or distraction or destruction, whatever you want to call it. All these laws all over the place. We're talking about divine law here. We're talking about the supreme law. We're talking about spiritual law of the Most High creators. So we talk about supreme laws, high court, high law. That's dealing with the Most High. So, you want to know the real law? You follow ESHU ORISHA. You follow ESHU Agotun. Agotun Imesi. Imesi ye. Cares for you here and the world beyond. The eyes, people's eyes cannot see, but it's there. Can you see your energy? Well, the energy is there. When you run out of energy, that's when you pronounce dead. That's the law. Seek first the law of the Most High. Or rather, seek the law of the Most High. Just because we mention first doesn't mean something else follows. The breath is the law. The farther we breathe in, that's law. Mouth.